This is the Decahedron Podcast with Joe and James, two old dudes talking about RPG stuff.
Hi, James.
Hi, Joe.
This is a special episode. This is the episode where we are announcing the winner of our giveaway. As people may recall, we are giving away a copy of Through Dungeons Deep, a fantasy gamer's handbook. It's published in 1982, although we're giving away the newer printing, the revised edition, by Robert Plamondon. I really wish I could pronounce his name. We have gotten 3 entries. We've gotten entries from, and I'm going to put them alphabetically here, Daniel from the Bandits Keep, from Evil Jeff. I decided to put Evil Jeff under E, from Minions and Musins, and from Jason from the Nerds Variety RPG cast.
Hey, Decahedron guys. This is Daniel from Bandits Keep calling in. I don't know why I haven't called in before. I'm pretty sure this is my first time. I'm actually going to make 2 calls because I'll leave my entry for the contest first, and then I'll call back about the D&D movie because you're talking about that now. But anyways, I was going to call in and do the classic thing and say, like, first edition Dungeon Master's Guide or something like that, because everybody always says, but you did say you prefer no rule books. So I will point out something that's in some ways a lot cooler. It's a series of books, but I'll just say the first one, and it is called Knock, or Knock Magazine. They kickstart them every once in a while. Basically, these people get together and they scour the blogs and various places to find really cool gaming stuff. A lot of it you'd probably say is OSR, I guess, in nature, but you've got basically reprinted blog posts, you've got adventures, you've got random charts, you've got monsters, you've got just all kinds of cool stuff. So like opinion pieces and adventures, as I said twice. But it's just such an interesting thing because, first of all, not only is it full or chock full of information and fun stuff that you can use, it's also beautifully laid out. And not beautifully laid out in the way that, like, Morkborg is that makes it almost unusable. It's beautifully laid out in the way that you can actually use it. For instance, the cover, if there's a slipcover, it comes off, and the inside of the slipcover is an adventure. Yeah, it's an adventure. And it's just great. It's just a great series. If you haven't picked one up, I definitely would. I think they're about to Kickstarter number 4, so if you haven't heard of them, keep an eye out for that Kickstarter. It's definitely worth it.
Hey, Daniel. Thanks a lot for that entry. I'd never heard of Knock before. And I looked it up. I found the publisher's website. I'm going to include a link in the show notes, as well as a link to your blog, of course, to your podcast, of course. And it looks very neat. I'm going to check it out. Thanks for that. Good luck. Bye.
Hey, Joe. It's Evil Jeff. So you wanted an entry for favorite game book. And I don't remember you giving any examples of what you like, just saying you prefer it not to be a rule book, but if it was, it's fine. I guess really what I would say, one of my favorite books to use for my games is one called Legends and Lore of the American Indians. And I use that for the native populations in an area that are not known by characters, and use that to help populate different ideas of monsters or potential quests or things like that that could be out there, just to give a little more flavor and mess with the players a little bit. So that's what I've got.
Hey, Evil Jeff, thank you a lot for that entry. Another book I never heard of. I think I found it. I'm going to include an Amazon link in the show notes. I am a big fan of taking real world legends and lore and using it as inspiration for my game worlds. I am a fan of particularly the Germanic invasions of Great Britain. So, like the Angles and the Saxons and the Jutes, and then later on the various Viking peoples. So I have some books about folklore of the British Isles that I use for such things. One is Legends of the English, I think it's called, and it starts with Beowulf, actually, even though they weren't in England at that time. They were the Angles who would eventually settle in England. So, yeah. So there's that. Great pick. Thanks a lot. Good luck. Bye.
Hey, this is Jason entering the May contest. It's a hard choice, so I've nailed it down to 2 books. The problem is you don't want us to call in rule books. I know we're allowed to, but you're asking us not to. So by eliminating rule books, I'm going to go with 2 books that are just inspirational. But the winner is going to be Down in the Dungeon from 1981 by Don Greer. Now, I realize Don Greer is the artist, not the writer, but there's not a whole lot of text, and the art is what really makes that shine. So it's really Don Greer's book. That said, the writer was Robert Stern. This is a book by Squadron Publishing. You remember them? They did books on tanks and military airplanes, stuff like that. And it was a very odd thing for them to get into, but I had that book very early on. The other book I had very early on was Ian Livingstone's Dicing with Dragons. And Dicing with Dragons was, I think, 82, and although it was published here in the States a little bit later, but it was kind of an overview of what RPGs are. It had a solo adventure in there, like what was in the Menser Beckme and like Tunnels and Trolls solos where it bounced around, choose your own adventure kind of solo in there and a basic rule system. And yeah, so that would be the second one because I used to love reading about all the games that I didn't own that it talked about because it talked about all the games that were out at the time the book was published, or most of them. So that was fun. But Down in the Dungeon would be, I guess, my number one pick, mainly because, RPGs are easy to come up with rules and easy to come up with scenarios and all. What you want is inspiration. So if we're not going to go straight to Conan or other fantasy literature, then I would go with the art. And so I'll go with Down in the Dungeon.
Hey, Jason, thanks for that entry. Again, I had not heard of either of these books. So for all 3 entries, they were all new, fresh meat, so to speak, for me. Stuff I had not heard of. I looked up both of them. Yeah, they're both sadly not available anymore. So I will put what links I found in the show notes. You mentioned aircraft and tank books. The only ones I was ever familiar with were, I think they were called Janes, but those were never my thing. There was a friend slash player I played with back in high school. His name was Clifford, and I think he was into those things, but not I. But yeah, both of those, from what I can tell, looked like very cool things. Thanks for that entry, and good luck. So the way I figure we would do this, James, is we're each going to roll a d6.
Okay.
On a 1 or a 1 or 4, it's going to be Daniel. On a 5 on a 2 or 5, it's going to be Evil Jeff, and on a 3 or 6, it's going to be Jason. And we're each going to roll, and if our numbers don't match, we're going to roll again. And this is the way we make sure that neither one of us is saying, "Oh, we're just going to give it to Jason because we like Jason," or "We're just going to give it to Evil Jeff," or whoever. So our numbers have to match. So are you ready with your D6, sir?
Yes.
All right, give it a roll, and I'm rolling mine.
4.
5. Nope, they don't match. Roll again. I have a 3.
2.
Nope, don't match. Roll again.
1.
5. They match because it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no, they don't match. Haha, I lied. One more time. I thought we'd get it within 3 times. Really. Okay, I got a 2. Hey, we have a match, and 2 was Evil Jeff. So Evil Jeff, you are our winner. Yay!
Congratulations, Evil Jeff.
So I will be getting in touch with you, Evil Jeff, to find out where you want us to send the book. We really hope you enjoy the book. Thanks for listening. Thanks for entering the contest. And thank you, everyone. James, thank you for joining me.
Well, thank you for the invite. May everyone enjoy this short clip.
Yep. And thanks for tuning in, everyone. Feel free to send us feedback, please. Until next week, happy gaming, happy life. Bye.
You have been listening to the Decahedron Podcast. Send email to feedback@decahedron.com. Remember to spell decahedron with a K. Voice feedback can be sent through the Anchor website or by calling 562-RPG-CAST. That's 562-774-2278. Links are in the show notes. Music is courtesy of Kevin MacLeod, logo by Design Cat. Thanks for listening.